Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife, Kara, should be home any minute. And today we are going to talk about how to keep the edge on your knife sharp for a long, long time. Now, this goes for factory edges or, at-home edges. However you sharpen your knife, doesn't matter. The point is that you can maintain your edge to be sharp for a very, very long time, especially in between sharpenings. Eventually, yes, you're going to have to sharpen, but you're going to have to sharpen a lot more if you don't do this. And if you do this, you can get away from doing a lot more sharpenings. You can just do this. It's super, super simple. Let's get into this. Everybody that carries a knife should have one of these, and it's super simple. Let's show you. So any one of these stones will work for this, and there's many other ones you can have. So we're just going to pull forward, and I'll go through them really quick, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is a ruby stone. It's about 3,000 grit. This is just a hard Arkansas stone. Really cheap. You can get these for like 20 bucks. This is a little bit more expensive. This is a translucent Arkansas. This is a ultrafine Spyderco ceramic. This is going to be more expensive too. These are cheap though. These are ceramic stones. You can see I've been using them. This one's the sapphire, and this is just the regular polishing stone. They're both ceramic stones. Same thing like the ultrafine, but you can use something just as simple as this. You can get this really cheap. I think these are like 12 bucks. So let's get to it. We're going to hone a knife right now. This knife has a bunch of edge damage. Let's see if we can get it to show up on the camera. See the nicks? If you can see, there's nicks all over the very edge. You know what? Now, I also have a ceramic rod, and you can use that too. That will work for this. But I find that the flat stones are a little bit easier for this, but you can absolutely use a round honing rod. You can absolutely use just a regular round ceramic rod. I like to use the flat stones. Let's look at this edge really quick. See if we can get to come up. And you see that nick right there? There's a nick. There's a nick. There's one. The whole blade is covered in these. So, now, cutting paper, I can still cut paper, but it's not going to be clean. See how it's kind of fighting through those burrs, and then right there is where I'm hitting a burr. Right there. So it's not cutting through clean. See how it's like tearing through? That's because the nicks start about right here all the way up. Let's hone it. So, very easy. We got our honing stone. You can get one of these very cheap, like I said. There's all, or we can use any one of these other ones. I put a little soap and water on there. Now, you're going to want to lay your edge. Sorry about my hands. Lay your edge nice and flat. So if you want to, you can lay it down and then pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up until that shadow's gone. And if you're a little off on this, it's okay. Just make sure you're up a little bit higher. Like if you're up a little high, it's not that big of a deal. Just don't put a lot of weight. It's better if you're nice and flat though. See how it's like trying to fight me? Just a little bit. Now it's because it's straightening out those burrs. Sorry, it went blurry for a second. Go back and forth. So you can see where it's like fighting to get these. I'm going to hit this side a couple times. I'm also trying to do this through a camera, but if I can do it through a camera, you can do it. You can actually feel when it starts getting smooth. Now, just doing a couple passes does wonders. Now, if you pick it up too high, like say if your angle's up a little high, you are going to polish the tip of the edge. If you lay it back and it's perfectly, or not lay back, if you have it perfectly flat, it's going to somewhat polish, just wiping the blade off, somewhat polish the edge a little bit. You know, you have to spend a lot of time to really polish the edge depending on what grit your edge is at. Now I have a factory edge we are going to do this to also, just to really look at it. So it's already really good. I feel one little tiny nick right there. And if it's too much to where it's not going to come out, then yeah, you know, you might end up having to sharpen, but it will help you continue to use your knife and it be very sharp until you're able to sharpen it, or it'll just bring it right back to a, you know, a razor edge. I can maintain a knife like this for a long time if I do it daily or every time I use it. All right, now let's go through this paper. No strop. That was just that stone. Let's see if we can find that little spot. Right there, see? Barely. Okay, now let's look at a factory edge that has some damage. Now this one is a knife that I used today. Same thing, it's got a factory edge on there. And you're going to see what I'm talking about with like the little kind of bit of polishing. We shouldn't have to hit this one that much. There it is right there. There's that little burr. Right there. This one's already almost done. The other one was at a place of where most people would sharpen it. Alright. Oh yeah. Way better. Now normally I would stop right about now. Very nice. Go. That's how you hone. Now if you were going to do it on like say a stone like this that's a little bit more aggressive. You know, this is like 1,000 grit, something like that. Let's get our soap on there. You could start with this one, like say if you were at this point of how this knife is, and hit it just a couple times, and then move to the ceramic. I can feel that spot. Remember, this isn't sharpening, this is honing. I'm basically just taking the parts of the edge that are wearing and I'm straightening them right back out to true, to nice and shaped like a V rather than it having spots that are coming apart, if that makes sense. I'm basically straightening the edge right back out to flat edges on the apex, or to the apex. The apex being the very tip of the edge the bevel that leads to the tip of the edge, we want it to be nice and flat. So now, oh yeah, that nick is gone. This thing's back to very, very sticky. So like you could do it just like that on that stone, and you can maintain your edge for so long like that. I mean, it's incredible how long you can make your edge last. I would want to strop right now after this. We're not talking about stropping today. We're just talking about honing. And like I said, any one of these stones, basically any stone, I'm going to say 1,000 grit and higher, you can do it on, as long as it's not an aggressive stone. You want it to be a stone that's nice and hard. A very hard stone. As long as it's a hard stone, you can hone on it, and you can keep and maintain your edge for an extremely long time. You know, obviously depending on what you're doing with your edge, but if you're just doing basic EDC and cutting stuff up, cutting straps, whatever, come back home, you could literally, if you did that every day, you could do 2 or 3 passes, maybe 2 passes on each side on this stone. That's it. This knife had been used a lot by, I sent it to another channel. Shout out to EDC Journey, and he used the heck out of it. And I love that he did that. And when it came back, I didn't even have to put a full edge on it. All I had to do was hone it. So that's what I'm saying, is that if you say used it only 1 day or 2 days, you know, at work or whatever, you come home, you do 2 passes on each side. Bang. Hit the strop. You're done. And then instead of doing a full-blown sharpening and having to remove steel, you don't have to remove as much steel as you think. You can maintain that edge that you already have on your knife for a long time. And if you're not good at sharpening, then this is very important. This is going to be super important to you. If you're not good at sharpening, get one of these stones. Because then you don't have to sharpen. You don't have to hold a perfect angle. You don't have to do any of that. All you got to do is hit that edge to the stone and drag it across, and it'll basically take, say if this is your edge, it's starting to do this, and you're basically going to push it back to true. And you know, obviously the better you hold your angle, you know, the better, but you don't have to be perfect when honing. You know, if you're shaving your face, yeah, but we're talking about work knives here. So there you guys go. I love you guys. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below or in the comments. I will answer whatever you guys need. Peace.